Today I'm going to be making crusted eggplant meatballs over spaghetti. I'm going to be making it with some basil, some garlic, some sun-dried tomatoes. I've got 1 can of chickpeas. I've drained and rinsed those. I got my eggplant, of course, 28 ounces of marinara sauce, and 16 ounces of whole wheat pasta. But the first thing I usually like to do is to get this water boiling so I can get started on my noodles. So as you can see, I like to cut the eggplant into 1/4-inch pieces. Okay, I've got a little bit of vegetable broth. I'll go ahead and put that in there. Start sauteing these up. Okay, I like to put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. Now let's check on this water. Okay, looks like it's boiling. I'll go ahead and put my noodles in. Also going to cut up my basil a little bit. I'm going to cut up my sun-dried tomatoes a little bit. Okay, we'll save these for a little bit later. Alright, these are coming along real nice. So they're starting to dry up a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit more of my vegetable broth in there. And just keep sauteing them. Okay, so my eggplant and garlic is sauteing up real nice. I'm going to go ahead and make my coating mix. I go with 1/4 cup of raw cashews, a 1/2 cup of panko breading, a 1/4 cup of rolled oats. I got a teaspoon of salt, and the salt is, again, always optional. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. I'm going to go ahead and use my food processor today, so let's go ahead and get this mixed up. My rolled oats, my panko, my raw cashews, and some salt. So that's my coating mix. Okay, so I just preheated my oven at 375. It's time to make the meatball mix. I've got my 1 can of drained and rinsed chickpeas. I've got my sun-dried tomatoes. These are not the ones that you get in the jar with the olive oil. These are in the package, the plastic package that you find in your produce department. So I've got some sun-dried tomatoes. I don't know, it's probably about 3 tablespoons. Then I've got my basil. And we're going to go ahead and pulse this up a bit. Go ahead and get it off the sides. And now I've got a 1/2 cup of vegetable broth. We'll go ahead and put that in there. Mix this up. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So I've got a teaspoon of oregano. I'll put that in there. 1 teaspoon oregano. 1 teaspoon of parsley. Go ahead and mix this up. Let's get it off the sides. So as you can see, it's kind of a pasty mix. Don't want to get it too wet. And I'll put my nutritional yeast in there. You know, this is optional, but I like to put just a little bit of salt in there. A little bit of pepper. Just kind of mix this up a little bit. Now it's time to add the eggplant that's been sauteing with the garlic. Alright, start mixing this all together. Now as you can see, it's still kind of loose. See how it's just a little bit loose? It's not really ready to make a meatball. That's when I have on hand about a half a cup of Italian breadcrumbs, and I just kind of mix it in there a little bit just to kind of get that right consistency so I can start rolling it up into a ball. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the breadcrumbs. So that right there is a half a cup of Italian breadcrumbs. Okay, so now it's time to go ahead and make the meatballs. I've lined a cookie sheet with some parchment paper. I've got my coating mix all ready to go, so it's like an assembly line. Now here's the thing about meatballs. It all depends on your family, your personality, what size meatball. My family tends to like them a little bit smaller. It takes a little bit longer, but it is well worth it. So let's go ahead and start making some meatballs. So it's basically just like normal meatballs. Just go ahead and roll them in a ball, and then I just like to roll them in my coating mix. And just go ahead and start putting them on the cookie sheet. Okay, so my meatballs are all done. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven at 375 for about 30 minutes. Okay, so my meatballs are in the oven, so now I'm going to go ahead and start warming up my marinara sauce. Oh, these meatballs turned out fantastic. I just can't wait to taste them. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a little bit of pasta. Let's put some sauce on there. Give me a couple meatballs. A little bit of sauce on top of the meatballs. This is going to be good, I can just tell. Let's go ahead and cut one. Oh, they look fantastic. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of the spaghetti in there. That is so good. Oh, fabulous meal. Today I'm going